2020 is Mario's 35th birthday. Super Mario Brothers on the NES launched back in 1985. So what the Washington Post did is they took every Mario game and what they define a Mario game is, where he's like the feature character. So your Super Mario Brothers series, your new Super Mario Brothers, etc., etc. And they came up with 19 games and they rank them from worst to best. So I'm not going to go through the entire list. I'm going to start with the top 10, and this actually does include mobile. Super Mario Run was on here. I think it was actually the lowest rated game on the list. But the top 10 were Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube, was number 10, which I think was the first console release since Super Mario 64. Yeah, I've actually.
I'm actually surprised that's that low.
It's one of the few that I've never played, and I had a GameCube,
Sunshine
and I
really
loved
good.
my GameCube. I just
really
never played it. I didn't actually get into the game
Sunshine was a blast
until I started watching speedruns out, and I was like, man, I missed out on probably one of the flagship games for the GameCube. Plus, just some of the the whole jetpack idea and the water and everything like that. It was just something that was so different and unique. And the second true 3D experience that Mario had, kind of coming off the success of Super Mario 64. Number 9, they had New Super Mario Brothers U, which released in 2012 for the Wii U. And it was kind of like a multiplayer-esque Mario game, to where you could play it by yourself, but you could also do 4-player local co-op and run the game like that, and like all your friends could play every level with you. So it kind of made the game a little easier, to where if one of you died, somebody else that was on screen could, as long as you like popped a bubble, you could save somebody and bring them back. But definitely not like a hardcore Mario title. It was something that's like more family friendly, because that's where Nintendo was. But it was still enjoyable. Number 8 was the original Super Mario Maker in 2015, which I can honestly say I'm having a ton of fun with the second one. Never played the first one, but it literally, you can make anything that you can think of, like the trolliest of troll levels to remakes of classics and the whole 9 yards. And Super Mario Maker 2 has done everything above and beyond what the first game did, and added a bunch of stuff. So if you don't have that game for the Switch, I highly recommend it. 7 was Super Mario Galaxy 2, which those are 2 games that I didn't play either the Galaxies either.
I think I like barely played 2. I played the first one. The first one was really good.
Loved it. I've heard the first one was like fantastic.
Yeah, first one was very, very good.
It was. I've seen a lot of gameplay and things like that where literally, like, it's cool that everything within a level is discoverable. Like, you can literally jump on any little mini planet, and the cool thing is that they're all literally 360 degrees. Like, you can run upside down, you can like use the space environment to its full potential.
That game was super, super good.
And then just the motion controls. I think that's something that honestly the Wii
it was ahead of its time.
Struggled with for the most part, but I think that was one of the few games that they got it right, honestly.
Yeah.
Number 6, this is one of the few beefs that I have with this list, was Super Mario Odyssey. If you
They ranked it that low?
Yeah, if you have a Switch and you haven't played Super Mario Odyssey, you're literally committing a disservice, because for like a single player open world Mario game like built to this scale, it's, in my opinion,
I would love to hear the top 5.
It's the best 3D Mario game since Super Mario 64. I think.
Yeah,
I had a ton of fun with it. There's a ton of replayability. If you're a completionist and you want to get every moon in the game, there's over 900 to find. So you definitely have hundreds of hours of enjoyment. I've actually thought about giving it a second or third playthrough, because it's literally just have fun with it.
Before we get to the top 5, I want to guess. I want to guess the top 5 of this.
Okay.
Not like I'm not gonna be able to guess the order correctly, but I'm gonna guess the top. Just precursor question: did they count the Smash Bros. series?
They do not, no, because it's not a Super Mario
Oh.
title. It's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's not like
I was
any
gonna say,
game that
Melee 100%
Mario's
is-
appeared in.
okay.
It's literally like that he's the title character of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, and
let's do
Woody
top
has
five.
not seen this list, so these guesses are legit.
Okay, so in the top 5, gotta be Super Mario 64 has gotta be in there.
Super Mario 64, I believe, is
That's
in
gotta
here.
be in there.
It's Super Mario 64 is third.
I would imagine Super Mario All Stars is probably in there.
That is
Although
not
that might
in
not
there.
be because it's a collection game of multiple Mario games, so maybe they just
Correct.
won't count it. So let's say the original Super Mario Bros.
That's number
Has to be
5.
there. Super Mario World.
That's number 2.
Okay, this is a personal one for me. I don't know if they would actually put it in the top 5, but Super Paper Mario.
That is not. Neither Paper Mario.
Did it make it on the list though?
I'd have to go back and
list.
look. I actually don't know if it did.
That's
3D Land.
that is such a joke, dude.
Yeah,
Super
no, neither
Paper Mario.
Neither
was
paper. There's
so
no
good.
Paper Mario
That
entry
was,
on the list.
That was one of my favorite Mario games. It was so underrated. It was so good for the Wii. Okay, that makes me upset. Wow, that really makes me upset actually. Okay.
You're like hurt by that.
Yeah, I really am because no one I feel like no one played Super Paper Mario, and it was so good. It was so good. Did they count? No, they wouldn't count. Mario Party then.
No.
If they don't count Super Smash Bros. Okay.
Right.
Super Mario World 3.
Super Mario Brothers 3 is 4th.
Oh yeah. That's what I meant.
So you've got number 1 is the last one.
Number 1 is the last one. What the
and it is a game 64? That we've talked about already.
Is it really?
Yep.
Shit, what games? This is my short-term memories kicking in. It sucks. Oh, Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, the original is number 1.
Yeah. Because we talked about 2. Okay.
Yeah, the original is number 5. The Washington Post listed as probably is history's most important video game, not even just for Nintendo or Mario, but literally video games, the entire industry. Lists it as that important.
Wait, so did they put 64 as 2?
They did, yeah.
64.
And it's crazy to think that I remember playing, a lot of games on the Super Nintendo as a kid, and thinking it took days and months to beat these games, and now you watch a speedrunner play Super Mario Brothers and they beat the game in less than 5 minutes, and you're like,
dude, 64 was so good. God, it was so good.
That was one of the first games I got on my N64.
Every all the levels, all the stars, the mission, the modes and stuff I don't know, everything of it for that time of a game, insane. Literally insane.
And literally 90% of the game just takes place within the castle. Yeah. It's a small area, but what they did, like you said, what they did and how big of a world they were able to build in 1996 and the game's held up remarkably well. And the article even goes on to say that they think that it's aged better than Ocarina of Time. I don't necessarily agree with that. I love the Mario franchise, don't get me wrong, but I think they both separately kind of cemented themselves in a historic fashion, because what those two games did to make the transition for Nintendo especially to go from 2D to 3D, and then just what that did for gaming in general to open that space, I think was huge. I'm
still fucking upset about Paper Mario, dude.
Right. I'm
telling you, if you guys listen to this, you gotta fucking play Super Paper Mario on the Wii. It was so good. It was so good. And I feel like it's the least talked about Mario game ever.
Yeah. Go get an emulator if you can't find a Wii.
Seriously, get an emulator. Yes.
And run through
play that game. It was so good. Loved it.
I'm torn on Super Mario World being number 2, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. the SNES just had so many great games like that, like Super Mario World, A Link to the Past, Super Metroid. Just their flagship franchises like really got their start into like blowing up into like nationwide and worldwide
Best
popularity.
NES game, Tech Mobile, no cap.
Um,
Freaking love Tech Mobile. That's just because the Bears were good at the time. They had Walter Payton. All you had to do was pick the Bears and win.
that's it. Yeah,
Good
and hold
times.
forward.
Good times.
The big thing
Sad
about
life as a Bears fan.
like Super Mario World was it introduced the Koopalings in a different level to where like they were in Super Mario Brothers 3, but they all had their own castle. You had the fortresses, you had the ghost houses, you had hidden areas. Like Super Mario Brothers 3 had like secret paths and things like that to where you could find the flute early on in the game and things like that. But Super Mario World had like entire like had Soda Falls, had Star World, and then the secret world built off of Star World. I mean, you could probably get like all 96 exits in like an hour and a half, but you just have so much fun doing it. Like I could plug in my SNES Mini and sit down and play Super Mario World right now and have just as much fun as I did growing up
you
playing
have
it.
an SNES Mini?
I do, yeah.
I was thinking about getting that at some point, but
It I thought it was well worth it for the titles they had on it. And that was one of the reasons that I bought it, was because it's like, oh, Super Mario World, slam dunk. Like that was one of the few reasons alone. Like I said, Super Mario Galaxy being number one, I can't necessarily agree or disagree because I've never personally played it.
It was really freaking good. I mean, I would still put 64 above it, but it was really, yeah, it definitely deserves to be up there. It was really fucking good.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
the thing that I was impressed about just with the article in general is you can tell that it's, at least to me, it appears that somebody who's
Played
either
like
done an
everyone.
incredible amount of research or that they've played every single game. Because it just gives so much detail, and it wasn't like
they have not played fucking Super Paper War.
That's true.
Mario.
Yeah.
Okay, they clearly have not played that one because Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Woody will be leaving a comment on the Washington Post, like, really, Super Paper Mario?
Fire this man.
Like all the Paper Marios and things like that. But that's their list. The Washington Post had Super Mario Galaxy is number one. You guys can comment in the chat, comment on the VOD to list your favorite Mario game or your favorite memory. And we'll be interested to kind of read those and continue the conversation.